Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Towards the end of the 7th chapter, Bhagavan said, Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandva moha nirmuktaha bhajante mam drudavrataha. So, those whose mind has become pure and those who are leading a righteous life, punyakarmanam. What is the punyakarma? That which creates vishamata. Visha means poison. That which creates vishamata, disturbances, lack of equanimity in our mind is papa. And samatvam yoga uchyate. And that which leads to equanimity is the punya, the meritorious act. So those who have thus attained punya karmanam, equanimity, their perception of the world is totally different. And because their perception of the world is different, they live the life also in a totally different manner. So what is their perception? Now their perception is that they have very clearly understood what is the meaning of the Brahma, Adhyatma, Karma, Adhibhuta, Adhidaiva, Adhiyajna. And with this complete knowledge, they are leading their life thereafter for attainment of freedom from old age and death. And for that, at the time of departure from the present body, they remember me because now yukta chetasaha, their mind is fully engrossed in me. So with this, Bhagavan concluded the 7th chapter. And while concluding the 7th chapter, he has used some technical terms. Te Brahma Viduhu, te Adhyatma Viduhu, te Karma Viduhu, te Adhibhuta Viduhu, Adhidaiva, Adhiyajna. What is this all? Brahma, Adhyatma, Karma, Adhibhuta, Adhidaiva, Adhiyajna. What is that? So this becomes a question. And this is how Bhagavan Shankara begins his commentary of the 8th chapter. Te tad Brahma tad Viduhu Krishnam ityadina Bhagavata Arjunasya Prashna Bijani Upadishtani Ataha Tat Prashnartham Arjuna Vacha. So Bhagavan Sri Krishna has used these words, Te Brahma Tad Vidu, etc. By this, Bhagavan has created a situation where Arjun can ask some questions because he has used some technical terms. And because the situation was created to ask the question, Arjuna has asked the question. See, but you don't allow us to ask the question in me. Isn't it? Now please understand. Bhagavan Krishna and Arjun, what is that? Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. Bhagavad Gita was a dialogue too. It was a dialogue between one to one. It was not a pravachan. Therefore, what he did and what we did, both are right. There is nobody wrong in this. So when he created the situation that Arjun can ask a question. Now you know what happens when the participation from the listener is not there, the speaker or the one who is talking about the truth cannot have inspiration to talk about. See? I'll tell you about this one example. One day, somewhere I was called for lecture. And these people have been listening on the TV. So they called me for lecture. And when I went for the lecture, all people, most of them, more than 90%, they were such that they were expressing a complaint on their face, why we are still alive. That kind of disgusted existence. And then I started talking. And then one of them said, because they don't have the discipline, when the pravachan goes, suddenly you should not interfere in between. He says, Swamiji, this is all we know. You tell us only jokes. Now tell. As if I am there on the stage to entertain them by telling jokes. You know, why a Sardar keeps one full and one empty glass next to him when he goes to sleep? I don't know. I don't know. Simple. One may feel thirsty, one may not feel thirsty. So if you don't feel thirsty, empty glass. If you feel thirsty, glass filled with water. Ha 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 ha. That is good. See? Therefore, the quality of the listener determines the quality of expression of the teacher. How important it is. So when these technical words were used, Arjuna is very keen, very sincere, and therefore he asks a question. So, what he says, Arjuna uvacha kim tad brahma kim adhyatmam kim karma purushottama adibhutam cha kim proktam adhidaivam kimucchate adhiyajñak katham kotra dehesmin madhusudana prayana kale cha katham jneyosi niyatatmabhihi. Now Bhagavan Shankara has written zero commentary on these two verses. See? Isham prashnanam yathakramam nirnayaya Sri Bhagavan uvacha. So to reply these questions in the proper sequence, Bhagavan Sri Krishna began. Now let us try to understand these questions. Arjuna's question is, when it is said, Te Brahma tad viduhu. So what is that Brahma? Therefore, Kim tad Brahma. Then the second statement of Bhagavan Krishna in the 29th verse was, Te Krishnam Adhyatmam viduhu. Those people who are of pure mind, free from the influence of Raga Dvesha, those who are not under the influence of likes and dislikes, not deluded, they Krishnam Adhyatmam viduhu. They clearly understand the meaning of Adhyatma. Now therefore the question comes, Kim Adhyatmam? Then the third was, Karma cha akhilam te viduhu. So therefore, what is the karma? Normally we understand karma means that whatever we are doing is karma. So Arjuna wants to know, Kim karma? Hey Purushottama. Now this address to Bhagavan Sri Krishna as Purushottama very clearly tells that Arjuna is knowing to whom he is asking the question. Therefore, Purushanam Uttam, the one who is the best among the beings, and Purushottama is none other than Paramatma. So, with this understanding, his question is that you are the Purushottama, and therefore you will definitely be able to explain me these terms. And then adhibhutam cha kim proktam. And what is called as adhibhuta? What is that which can be labeled as adhibhuta? And the fifth thing is adhidaivam kimuchyate. Adhibhuta and the adhidaiva. What is that adhidaiva? Kindly tell that also. And then asmin dehe, he Madhusudana, adhiyajnaha katham kaha. Who is this adhiyajna in this? And how he is? So katham and kaha. These are the two questions. Kaha yadi adhiyajnaha and katham adhiyajnaha. That means whosoever is the adhiyajna, who is residing in this body, and the second thing, how he resides in this body. We also reside in the body and we suffer. So this adhiyajna, if he is living in this body, then how does he live? One child has asked this question. Swamiji, you tell us that the God is in everybody's heart, and from that day onward I have started feeling sorry for God. So why, what happened? We, with living only in our heart, because of the misery we become so miserable. Now poor that God is in everybody's heart, so he must be terribly miserable, is it not? So that adhiyajna, how does he live in this body? So katham adhiyajnaha and kaha atra adhiyajnaha asmin dehe he Madhusudana, the destroyer of the demon Madhusudana. So Madhu is attachment. The one who is the destroyer of the attachment, he alone can tell about the relative existence with reference to the absolute being. He Madhusudana. And the last question is prayana kale cha katham neyaha asi niyatatma bihi. Because he has used the word prayana kale pichamam te vidur yukta chetasaha. So this yukta chetasaha is used by Arjuna as niyatatma bihi. The one who has complete niyantran on his mind. Here Atma means mind. That means he who has attained the Sayyama. Trayam ekatra bandhaha Sayyamaha. So those who have attained the Sayyama, such people, prayana kale, at the time of departing from the body, by them katham neyaha asi. How you are known by them? Neyaha asi. Kindly tell, because you said prayana kale pimam te vidur yukta chetasa. How they know you? How you are known to them? Because we know at the time of death, people are remembering everything except Paramatma. And these fellows, surprising, how they can remember Paramatma? So kindly explain. So to these questions, Esham Prashnanam Yathakramam Nirnayaya Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Aksharam Brahma Paramam Svabhavodhyatma Muchyate Bhuta Bhavodbhava Karo Visarga Karma Sanjnitaha. Aksharam Brahma Paramam Svabhavaha Adhyatma Uchyate and Bhuta Bhavodbhavakaraha Visargaha Karma Sanjitaha. So these three questions are replied in this verse. Now first, Kim Tad Brahma? What is that Brahman? It is explained. Aksharam Brahma Paramam. So Aksharam means what? Naksharati iti Paramatma. So what is the Brahman? Brahman means the Paramatma. So these are the three words used. The Brahman is used by the Vedantis, Paramatma is used by the yogis, and Bhagavan is used by the devotees. But all of them mean the same reality. So Aksharam Brahma Paramam. Now this Paramatma, how this is Akshara? He quotes this Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Tasyava Aksharasya Prashasane Gargi iti Shrutehe. So, hey Gargi, under the discipline, Bhishasmad Vatapavate Bhishodeti Suryaha Bhishasmad Agnischendrascha Mrityurdhavati Panchamaiti, under the fear of this supreme reality, everything is functioning in the most beautiful disciplined manner. So, this is the Aksharam. He doesn't change, he is one and the same. Now, Om Itteka Aksharam Brahma Vyaharan Mamanusmaran Tajanteti Kalevaram. See, in the same chapter, this thought comes. Om Itteka Aksharam Brahma Vyaharan Mamanusmaran Jab Prayati Tajandeham Sayati Paramam Gatim. So there, Brahma is Om. Brahma is Om. So, this should we not take that the Brahma means the Om? Why are you telling Akshara means Naksharatiti Paramatma? That is called as Om or the Brahman. Bhagavan Shankaracharya explains that. Omkarasya cha Om iti ekaksharam Brahma iti parena visheshanat agrahanam. This definition is not acceptable to us because parena visheshanat. Because Aksharam Brahma Paramam. So Paramam Brahma is Aksharam, not the ordinary Brahma. That means there are two Brahma? Yes. Apara Brahma and Para Brahma. Apara Brahma is what? That Om. So it is the indicator. It is not the Brahman. And therefore, when Bhagavan is telling Aksharam Brahma Paramam, we should not take that only Om is the Brahman. And that is why Parena Visheshanat. So Para is the attribute, adjective added to the Brahman, and therefore we cannot take Brahma means Om. See, in our Kathopanishad also it comes Om Ittekaksharam Brahma or Etadalambanam Sreshta Etadalambanam Param. It is the Alambanam. Om is the Alambanam. It is not the goal. It is not the destination. It is the means. And therefore here Aksharam Brahma Paramam means Akshara, Naksharati iti Tat Paramatma. So Paramam iti cha Niratishaye Brahmani Akshare Upapannataram Visheshanam. And therefore, by the word Brahma, what is meant is the absolute reality. Niratishaye Brahmani. Niratishaya Brahma means absolute reality. Niratishaya. There is nothing other than the Brahman in the Brahman. So that is the meaning of the word Aksharam Brahma Paramam. And therefore, this Paramam adjective is added. Now, first is this Aksharam Brahma Paramam. So this is immaculate, absolute, attributeless, one without a second, unchanging, unborn, unmodifying, undying. Na jayate miyate va vipaschit, etc. That is called as the Brahma. Now the second question was, Kim Adhyatmam? What is the meaning of Adhyatma? Now, Tasyeva Parasya Brahmanaha Pratideham Pratyagatma Bhavaha Svabhavaha. Now see, how beautiful Bhagavan Shankaracharya writes. Tasyeva Parasya Brahmanaha. That Parabrahma which was defined in the last verse, in the last statement as Aksharam Paramam Brahma, that Parabrahma Pratideham Pratyagatma Bhavaha. The same Brahman with reference to the individual body is called as Pratyagatma Bhavaha. See, Pratyagatma Bhavaha means I with reference to this body. So I live in this body, the senses are functioning for me, and everything is offered to me. So this I is the Swabhava. So Pratyekatma Swabhavaha, therefore Swabhavaha Adhyatmam Uchyate. That means in this infinite reality, in the absolute reality, when an element of relativity or individuality is introduced with reference to the individual body, that reduced referential infinite Brahman is called as Adhyatmam Swabhavaha with reference to this body. Therefore, Swabhavaha Adhyatma Uchyate. So in the local language, it is Atma and Paramatma. See, in our Yoga Shastra, they say, when the Jiva is residing in the Anahata Chakra and he is busy with the lower three chakras, he is a samsari. When the Jiva is withdrawn from the lower three chakras and now trying to assess his own essential nature, therefore no more disturbed by the objective thoughts die away, then the objectless I remains. Then that Jiva migrates from the Anahata Chakra to the Vishuddha Chakra. Why it is called a Vishuddha Chakra? Because here it is the egoless experience of being. That is called as Atma Jnana. Now that Atma is called as here Swabhava Adhyatma Uchyate. That is the Swabhava. Now further this is explained. Atmanam deham adhikrutya pratyagatmataya pravrittam paramartha brahma avasanam vastu swabhavaha adhyatmam uchyate adhyatma shabdena abhidhiyate. Now atmanam deham adhikrutya, the same absolute reality taking refuge in the body as if. See, we call this as the room space. Why we call it the room space? Why not only space? Because of the conditioning of the room. But how the infinite space has become the room space? Because the infinite space has taken refuge in this room. See? In the same manner, the infinite reality, the absolute, existing with reference to the body, therefore Atmanam Deham Adhikrutya Pratyagatmataya Pravrittam Paramartha Brahma Avasanam Vastu Swabhavaha. And therefore, these Parabrahma Paramatma taking the refuge of the body and thereafter living as the inner core or controller of this body, but essentially Paramartha Brahma Avasanam. Essentially, it is the same Parabrahma Paramatma Vastu. So, Avasanam Vastu Swabhavaha. That is called as Swabhava, and it is indicated by the word Adhyatma. So, Swabhavo Adhyatma Uchyate. Adhi Atma. This is the word explained by Bhagavan Shankara. Adhi Atma means Atmanam Deham Adhikrutya. So, Adhi Atmam, Adhyatmam is this word. Atmanam is Deham Adhikrutya Adhyatmam. Pratyagatmataya Pravrittam. And this is how, in short, the Parabrahma Paramatma is without reference of anything. And Adhyatma is with reference to the body. So, absolute reality and the relative reality. Like, man is Parabrahma, husband is the Jiva or the relative reality. In this manner, these are the two words. Now, the third word used was, what is that karma? Kim karma uchyate purushottama. Now, the karma is defined as bhuta bhavod bhavakaro visargaha karma sajnitaha. Now, this is to be very beautifully dissected to understand it clearly. Bhuta bhava udbhava kara. This is the word. Bhutanam bhavo bhuta bhavaha. First understanding. Existence of the being is called as bhuta bhava. Like the animal exists, the man exists, the woman exists, the child exists, the tree exists. So bhuta bhava bhutanam bhavaha. Tasya udbhavaha. Where from these beings are born? So the birth of the various individuals is called as bhuta bhava udbhava. Second. Now, bhuta bhava udbhava karaha. Now one more word is there. So, bhuta bhava udbhavaha tam karoti. So he who is responsible for creation of the various being in this world is called as bhuta bhava udbhava karaha. So bhutanam bhavaha bhuta bhavaha. Existence of the beings. And that which is creating the existence of the being is called as the bhuta bhava udbhava karaha. So bhuta vastu utpatti karaha ityartaha. That means the one who is the creator of the things. Bhuta vastu ityartaha. What is that? Visargaha. So what is the karma therefore? Bhuta bhavakaraha visargaha karma. Visarga means what? Giving up. Sarjanam. Visarjanam. So we take Ganeshji and in the sea we leave him. And when our boat is in difficulty, we say, Ganesha save me, Ganesha save me. He smiles, I will not. Because you are putting me every year. Now you suffer. So, Visarga, Visarjanam, Devata Uddeshana Charupo Purodashadehe Dravyasya Parityagaha Sa eva Visarga Lakshanaha Yajnaha. Visarjanam therefore means the Yajna, the karma. Whenever we do some karma, because of that karma, samskara are made, and those samskaras are responsible for the continuation of the cycle of birth and death. Therefore, to understand this, take an example. See, in the standing water, there are never whirlpools. See, if you see, let us take a lake or what you call the swimming pool, there are no whirlpools. But when the river is flowing in one direction, in that many whirlpools appear. So what is that which is creating the whirlpool in that huge sheet of water? That one directional movement of the water to reach the sea. Is it not? If this example is clear, in the same manner, what is the karma? Karma is the whole creation. And the whole creation is going from the relative to the absolute. And this is a continuous process. Like, the river has been flowing from years and years together. So, bhuta bhava udbhavakaraha. Now, in that flowing river, bhuta bhava udbhavaha. It is only because of the movement of the water in one direction that whirlpools are created. In the same manner, this whole world which is created, it is only because of the movement in consciousness. So the movement in the consciousness, because of which the whole world is created, is called as the karma. Bhuta bhavodbhavakaraha visargaha. This visarga is called as karma. Now here, the Bhagavan has given with the understanding of the traditional words. So, devata uddeshena charu purodashadehe dravyasya parityagaha sa eva visarga lakshanaha yajnaha. Now, what is done in the yajna? invoking some gods or goddesses, we offer the oblations. Offering of the oblation is called as giving up, parityagaha, and this is done in the yajna. And therefore, yajna is called as karma sanjnitaha. Now see, the whole world is moving. Do you think it is moving with any personal will? No. So the sun rises, sun sets, this is the yajna of the sun. Rivers are flowing, this is the yajna of the rivers. All the plant kingdom is behaving according to the nature's rule, that is the yajna of the nature. And in this manner, the whole world is throbbing with activity and moving from birth to their own extinction. Is it not? The plant is born, it grows, for what? To die. What we are all doing? Only one thing. We are trying to reach our death. So those who are failures, they continue to live. Those who are successful, they die. So this whole process, wherein there is a constant change, this is together called as karma sanjnitam. And because of this only, various individuals are created. Now those individuals will push, they have got their own directions, and there are mamata, I-ness and my-ness, and the whole world is created. See? Therefore, bhuta bhava udbhava karaha visargaha karma sanjnitam. This is what is the karma. Etasmad hi bija bhuta vrishtyadi kramena sthavara jangamani bhutani udbhavanti. And because of this alone, when the yajna is done, as a result of the yajna, bija bhutad vrishtyadi kramena, then there is the rains, and then from the rains, sthavarani jangamani bhutani udbhavanti. Then the grass, the subtle, the movable, immovable, the whole world is created. Therefore, what is the karma? Karma is manifestation. Bhuta bhavut bhavakaraha visargaha karma sanjnitaha. Now, these three questions are answered. Now the next 3-4 questions. In the 4th verse, adhibhutam ksharo bhavaha purushashchadhidaivatam adhiyajnyohamevatra dehe deha bhrutamvara adhibhutam ksharo bhavaha. Adhibhutam pranijatam adhikritya bhavati iti. So that which is existing with the support of the various manifestation. So pranijatam adhikritya, with the support of the living beings, that which is existing is called as adhibhuta. Kaha asau? What is that? Ksharaha, ksharati iti. Ksharo vinashi. So who is that who is existing with reference to the beings? That is called as the adhibhuta. And this adhibhuta is ksharo bhavaha, is constantly changing. It is modifying. Yatkinchit janimad vastu ityartaha. Therefore, what is adhibhutam? Adhibhutam is that because of which the bodies are existing. See, unless there is a body, there is a subtle body, there cannot be expression of the Atma creating the individuality. So the gross body and the various elements which have gone into the formation of the gross body, this is called as adhibhuta. And what is the quality of this adhibhuta? Ksharo bhavaha, that which is vinashi. anything that is created is subjected to destruction. Therefore, whatever is seen in this world leading to its destruction, that is called as adibhuta. Now see, adibhuta. So, the world that has been maybe few hundred years before and now it is totally different. The other day somebody came and he was passing through Thane, came from Nashik. And he said, Swamiji, when we come from Nashik to Bombay, Thane comes in between, but this time I have not seen Thane anywhere. I said, we are going through Thane only. He said, this is the Thane? I said, yes. My God, I can't recognize. Because it has continuously been changing slowly. Now that village type of Thane, about 30-40 years before, there is total change. That means anything in this world which is existing and undergoing change is called as adibhutam. So the bodies are changing, the bodies are adibhutam. Our likings and dislikes are changing, that is adibhuta. Then our mind is changing, adibhuta. Our priorities are changing, adibhuta. And in this manner, adibhutam ksharo bhavaha. Now further, purushascha adhidaivatam. Purushaha purnam anena sarvam iti purushayanad va purushaha adityantargataha hiranyagarbhaha sarva prani karananam anugrahaka saha adhidaivatam. Now what is the meaning of adhidaivatam? Adhidaivatam means purushaha. Now what is the purusha? Purnatvat purushaha. The one who is complete, there is nothing lacking in him, the infinite reality, the conscious self, the conscious reality is the Purusha. And another definition of Purusha is Purishayanatva, or the one who is abiding, living in the body. Purishayanat, sleeping in the body. Shayana, sleep. So, the one who is sleeping in the body is also Purusha. Now what this Purusha does? The same Purusha, Adityantargata Hiranyagarbhaha, the same Purusha who is living in the present body, in the human body or any body, the same Purusha is also existing, living in the body of the sun called and living as Hiranyagarbhaha. So, what he does, sarva prani karananam anugrahakaha. Now be very attentive, this to be understood completely. See, adhidaiva means what? The sun hanging in the sky is adhibhautika, adhibhuta. The one which is seen by us as a lamp hanging in the sky, adhibhuta. Now, you must have heard the story about this churning of the Milky Ocean. When the Devatas and Asuras decided to churn the ocean, because it is full of secrets and great wealth, so they came together, started. And when the Amrita, the ambrosia, came out, then these Asuras, Rakshasas wanted to have everything. That time Bhagwan takes the form of the Mohini avatar. And he deludes them and starts giving the Amritam only to the gods. And when this was being done, this Rahu comes to know about it. Hey, there is some trick. What he does, he gets up from the Asura's side and slowly sneaks into the gods' Pangat and goes in between sun and the moon. And this Bhagwan Vishnu, in the disguise of the Mohini, is giving their Amrutam. At the moment he takes it, he is told, Lord is told by the Surya and the Chandra, both of them. See, this is the Rakshasa Asura, he is not the Deva, he has come in a disguise. And immediately Bhagwan cuts his throat. So the head is separated from the body. And therefore, this Rahu becomes very angry with sun and the moon. And he is constantly running after the sun and the moon to eat them. And sometimes he is successful. So he eats the sun. And when he eats the sun, there is the eclipse. But thank God, after the head there is nothing below. So the sun comes out from that side. Now this story where the sun, moon and the Rahu etc. are depicted as the living being, that is referred as the Adhidaivik. These are the divine forces. See? So, this Purushaha, Purnam Anena Sarvamiti, Purushayanatva. So this Purusha who is abiding in the body, and the same Purusha is also living in the sun. Now what he does? Sarva Prani Karananam Anugrahakaha. He is blessing the functional ability to all the faculties that we are functioning through. Sarva Prani Karana. Karana means instruments. Ear, nose, smell, etc. So Sarva Prani Karananam Anugrahakaha. Saha Adhidaivatam. See? So in short, that sun, because of which the whole world is illumined, is Adi Bhautik. Now this Adi Bhautik sun has the light coming from where? It is because of the Adi Daivik sun. Now the same Adi Daivik sun which is giving the light to the Adi Bhautik sun, the same sun is giving light to our eyes, and therefore we are able to see through the eyes. Now see the clarity. So the divine energy or the divine consciousness functioning through the conditioning of the totality called as the Adi Bhautik sun expresses as life and light. And the same absolute reality, when functioning through the eyes of the living being, it is called as the Adhyatmic eye. Now like the structure of the sun hanging in the sky is Adi Bhautik, similarly the structure of the eye present in our body is also the Adi Bhautik. So from the structure of the sun, light is expressed, and whose light it is the Purusha. And from the structure of the eye, the vision is expressed. Whose is that expression? This expression is also of the same Purusha. And therefore it is said here, Hiranyagarbhaha Sarva Prani Karananam Anugrahakaha Saha Adhidaivatam. So Adibhutam Ksharo Bhavaha Purushascha Adhidaivatam. Now the next one. Adhiyajnyo ham eva atra dehe dehavritambara. Adhiyajnyaha सर्व यज्ञाभिमानिनी देवता अधियज्ञा विष्णुवाख्या यज्ञो वै विष्णु इति श्रुतेः सही विष्णु अहम एव अत्र अस्मिन् देहे यो यज्ञः तस्य अहम अधियज्ञः यज्ञो हि देह निर्वर्तत्वेन देह समवायी इति देहाधिकरणे भवति देहाधिकरणः भवति देहभृतांबर देहभृतांबर द बेस्ट अमंग द ह्यूमन बीइंग्स. हे अर्जुन, who is Adhiyajna? Sarva Yajna Abhimanini Devata. The one who is propitiated by all the yajnas is called as Adhiyajna. It is something like this, This you will understand easily at the individual level. And then expand it to the total level. See, eyes are seeing colors and forms. So here is the Devata, the sun, Surya Devata, presiding over the eyes, and illuminating the vision, and the things are seen. Then the Dig Devata sitting in the ears, giving the faculty of hearing, and all sounds are heard. Now all of these various gods, devatas, they are doing it for whom? Eyes are not seeing for themselves. Ears are not hearing for themselves. Then all of them are functioning for that one. So I see, I hear, I smell. So this one for whom all the gods, all the faculties are functioning, he is called as Adhiyajna in our example. Now what is the real meaning? Sarva yajna abhimanini devata vishnakya sahi Vishnu aham eva atra asmin dehe. Bhagavan says that Vishnu who is present in all the beings and for whom everything is being done. Now see the difference. When we are recognizing that the Surya Devata in the eyes is helping the eyes to see the color and form, that sun is not functioning for himself but for the Atma Swabhava Adhyatma Uchyate. Now in the same manner, that Parabrahma Paramatma who is with reference to the Adhiyajna or individual bodies and all the bodies, he is called as the Vishnu, and he is in this body or in these bodies living and experiencing and enjoying all the bhoga, but not getting influenced by any one of them. Because Yajnyo havai deha nirvartatvena deha samavai. Because of the body alone every activity is possible, and therefore in this the one who is residing in this body is called as the Adhiyajna. Now Bhagavan says Adhiyajna aham eva atra. Now see the difference. Can we say that I alone is in everyone? Because our experience is that I am only in this body, not in the other bodies. Now another explanation. When a mother looks at the child or a father looks at his son, what happens? He starts seeing himself in that child, in that son. How he starts seeing? When he is able to give the things what his son wants, why he gives? As a child I have never enjoyed all these things, so let my son enjoy. Meaning what? The father is trying to live his own childhood through the childhood of his son, because he is seeing himself in them. Now one step further. Bhagavan says, Aham eva atra dehe. I alone is the Adhiyajna in all the bodies. Therefore, there are two eyes. One is Swabhava and the second is Adhiyajna. The Swabhava is, or the Jiva is with reference to the individuality, and Adhiyajna is a common denominator. Therefore, this infinite reality, when functioning through the individual bodies and referring itself with reference to the individual bodies alone, is called as the Adhyatma or the Jiva. And the same infinite reality functioning through all the bodies and not getting caught up in any one body is called as the Adhiyajna. See the difference? Now to understand this, take an example of our politicians. Our Prime Minister. Now this Prime Minister is first a citizen, so only one vote. And then second, then he is the Prime Minister. So all the votes. So there are two personalities in the Prime Minister. Individuality and totality. And when he is living as an individual, he is a meek, a submissive, not omniscient, very less powerful. But when he is living as a total, he is all powerful. So this is the relative existence. Now the third stage. Third stage is this absolute reality, Adhyajna, who is supporting the total world of names and forms by functioning through the bodies, for whom everything is happening, and yet this Adhyajna is not influenced by any individual body, because this Adhyajna is one without a second. This is what is me. So Adhyajna aham evatra dehe deha bhratambara. Now, after having replied these questions, how many questions replied so far? 6 questions. Now the 7th one, verse number 5. Antakale cha mameva Smaran muktva kalevaram Yaprayati samadbhavam Yati nastyatra samshayaha. Now, antakale cha mam eva smaran muktva kalevaram. Antakale cha marana kale. At the time of departure from the present body, mam eva paraveshwaram vishnum smaran muktva parityaja kalevaram shariram. So at the time of departure from the body, he who remembers me, the Vishnu, the Lord, who is the Parameshwara, then yaha prayati, he who does leave the body by remembering me, saha madbhavam vaishnavam tattvam yati. So sayati samadbhavam, he alone attains oneness with me. And he says, yati na asti atra vidyate asmin arthe samshayo yati va nava iti. There is no doubt about it. So, at the time of departure, whatever is the last thought that determines our destination. See, now this is the principle, very clearly to be understood. See, when we are leaving the body, and that time if we are angry, jealous, frustrated because of something, so our body becomes, subtle body becomes mutilated. And with that mutilated, frustrated body, subtle body, we leave the gross body. Now our mind has taken that shape. And as a result, they enter those yonis where that kind of expression is possible. And he who is remembering me, yaha prayati sa madbhavam yati. And he who is at the time of leaving the body is constantly thinking of me. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Naturally, his mind is oriented into this absolute reality. And then he goes to the Lord. Or, as in case of the Vedantic approach, when our mind is totally free from thoughts, 100% free. The mind is thought free, therefore without any particular form. Then what happens? Na tasya prana utkramanti. He does not leave the body. My God, he continues to live in the body. No. Atra Brahma samashnute. He is Brahman there and then. For him there is no coming and no going. Therefore, yaha mam smaran kalevaran muktva prayati samadbhavam yati. He attains me natra samshaya. There is no doubt about it. After having told this, na mad vishaye eva ayam niyamaha kim tarri. And this thing what I told you is not a special rule for me. It is a general rule. See? when you are going out of the class and you have not decided anything, and just at the moment of going, the thought comes, let me go to the watchman and see whether something is left for me. So you go there. That was the last thought with which you left this room. In the same manner, if the last thought is that of the Lord, we will reach the Lord. If the last thought is that of the God, we will reach God. If that of the dog, we will become dog. And in our Bhagavad Mahapuran, this story which goes that the great King Bharata, he did so much of tapasya, but he was so much attached to that baby deer, and at the time of death, he was remembering only the deer, and next birth was that of the deer. But because he was the devotee of the Lord, he remembered everything, every experience, even in the deer body. So he has gone through the life of the deer body, then he discarded the deer body, and again he was born as a human being, and then he became the Jada Bharata, and ultimately merged with the reality. In short, what is to be understood is, it is our thoughts which determine our next destination. And therefore, we have to be extremely aware what kind of thoughts are present in our mind in every moment, because we don't know what time we are going to leave the body. Therefore, we have to be all the time alert. Constantly chanting the Lord's name or remembering Him is preparing us to leave any time. And therefore, this is the rule. What is the rule? Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam Tyajatyante kalevaram Tam tamevaiti kaunteya Sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Now, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. Whatever bhavam, thought, devata vishesham smaram. So whatever God you remember or whatever things you remember, chintayan smaran, tejati parityajeti ante prana viyoga kale kalevaram. So at the time of separating from the body, that time whatever bhava one thinks, tam tam eva smrutam bhavam eva eti na anyam. So he attains the same last thought and not anything else. Anyam kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Because he has been contemplating, thinking about that at the time of departure from the body. Tasmin bhavaha tad bhavaha. Therefore, that bhavaha tad bhava smaryamanataya abhyastaha yena saha tad bhava bhavitaha san. Because he has been practicing this his whole life, and that is why the last thought will be the one which comes to us without efforts. Now here I will tell you some few important things. Like, one person asked me this, that Swamiji, that Ajamila has called only once Narayana and he was liberated. So what is the need of calling the Lord's name the whole life? I said, do you know he did not call his Narayana, he called his son. And he had the practice. His whatever was the length of the age of the child, during all those days he was constantly remembering him. And that which is constantly sada tad bhava bhavitaha, when that is being constantly remembered again and again, then that memory becomes effortless. See? And when the memory becomes effortless, that effortlessness alone comes to our help at the time of departure from the body. And therefore, it is necessary that we train ourselves to such an extent that we don't have to struggle to remember the Lord at the time of departure from the body. This is the way a devotee thinks of leaving the body. You know that bhajan, jab prana tan se nikle, Govinda ka naam mukh mein ho, jab prana tan se nikle. Now this is according to devotees. Now according to the yogis, those who have completed, now because you have just now studied, those who have completed their Viveka Khyati and thereafter they have got established in the Sampradnyata Yoga, and as a result now their mind or chitta has become free from any thoughts, only Prarabdha Kshaya is going on. Such a Jivan Mukta Purush, when he leaves the body, because at the time of leaving the body, he had zero thought level, and therefore he is not born again, he merges in the Absolute. Meaning is the same. Whether you follow the path of devotion and go to the abode of the God, or you follow the path of the yoga and recognize the Absolute undivided, non-dual reality, it is one and the same. In this manner, tad bhava bhavitaha san, one has to train oneself how much we are able to keep ourselves in tune with the divine without any special effort. Yasmat evam antya bhavana dehantara prapto karanam. This because the last bhavana, the last thought, becomes the cause for getting our next life. See? You know, there is one story in the book of our Shirdi Sai Baba. I don't know whether you read this thing or not. There are many Vedantis, they feel it is below their dignity to read the books of this kind. And they read it, but they don't tell that they have read. One day, I never knew about these techniques. So one day, one Vedanti came and told me, Swamiji, you are a Vedanti, you talk Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, and you talk about this Baba and that Baba, what kind of this thing? I said, it is better to talk about Baba than Bibi. Isn't it? Now in his Pothi, this story comes. There was a person who was sitting with him, and one frog was being eaten by a snake. And a sound was going on, caw like that. Croaking sound of the frog. So this devotee asked him, hey, what happened? He said, nothing. That man, he is being taken revenge by this man. He said, what is this you are talking? There is a frog and a snake. What man has come? He said, don't worry, I will tell you later. He goes and tells that snake. Tells his some name. Are you not still happy that you are born in this snake body? And are you not still disgusted that you are born in the frog body? Now give up your enmity and disappear. So the snake leaves the frog and goes away. Now this devotee he said, what is happening? I am not understanding. He said, I will tell you the story. Then he tells the story. These were the two people. Relation, the story is long, I will not tell you that. And at the time of their death, this one who was having extreme hatred, poisonous hatred for the other man, died in that mood. And he became the snake. And the other man, who was being cursed and tortured and threatened, he died under the fear complex, and therefore he became the frog. See, whatever is the last thought, that is why it is essential that we must keep our mind with the divine theme all through. And keeping the mind in divine theme does not mean we become mechanical. Ram, 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 Ram. Aha. More awareness. The more we become aware in our life, the more we are spiritual. This is another important thought. See, when we are concentrated, single pointed, we become extrovert. See? Observe. When you think about something, I have to do this, I have to write letter, I have to do this thing, I have not phone, I don't know why they do, you become single pointed and you go away from yourself. And when you are with yourself alone, then you are extremely aware. See? That extreme awareness is called as the spiritual practice. And to attain this extreme awareness, Bhagavan says in the 7th verse that if you are living the present body with the extreme awareness, then there is no question of birth and death. And if you do not do this thing, again you will be caught up in the wheel of birth and death. And therefore, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yudhyacha mayyarpita mano buddhi mame vaishyasya samshayaha. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yudhyacha. I remember when the students finished their course, there was a function and everybody said a few words. Then they told me, now as the Acharya, you also please bless them. I said, I have been bombarding them for last 3 years. What will blessing more required? Anyway, as a formality, I will tell. Ma manusmara yudhyacha. Oh, so you are telling them to be fighting cocks. That you decide. What your meaning you take, you decide. I have no objection. Now see, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu ma manusmara yudhyacha. Tasmat means why? Yasmad antya bhavana dehantara praptau karanam tasmat. See, this is how Bhagavan's commentary has the beauty. So he has used the word tasmat by adding his commentary so that the thought becomes connecting between the last verse and this verse. So, because whatever is the last thought at the time of departure from the body, that last thought determines our next body. Tasmat, therefore, sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yatha shastram. Therefore, all the time, every moment, mam anusmara, remember me. And how remember me? Anusmara yatha shastram yudhyacha yudhyam cha swadharmam kuru. And then what is your dharma at this moment? Your dharma is the yuddha, you have to fight this war. So you are fighting this war as per the scriptural injunctions. See? Whatever situation, whatever place we are placed by the Lord, that we are supposed to do. When we say, I am leading the life of dharma, except I don't do what I am supposed to do, then it is not the dharma. So you have come here on the battlefield for fighting the war. And if you don't fight this war, you are not following your dharma. And therefore, yatha shastram yuddhacha yudhyam cha swadharmam kuru. So here, yuddha, the fight, the war, is because it is a situation. Many people take this as if Bhagwan has told to fight. Arjuna was a very nice person. He was ready to go from the battlefield. But is the Bhagwan Krishna didn't allow him to go, and because of him the Mahabharata war took place. See? And this is not only the understanding of the ignorant people, but this was also said by Gandhari. She cursed Bhagwan Sri Krishna when all her children were killed, Duryodhana, etc. Then she said, "It is because of you my children have died. You have created this situation of war because you were against me and my children. And therefore I curse you." And she curses Bhagwan. Bhagwan says, "I was anyway waiting for some reason for me to die." It's good, you have created a reason. Therefore, here Bhagwan is telling, Yuddham cha swadharmam kuru. Because that is your dharma. Now, Mai Vasudeve arpite manobuddhi yasya tava yasya sa tvam mayarpita manobuddhi. So, let your mind and intellect be totally dedicated to me. So, you do your dharma. But while doing this dharma, remember, you are not doing it for your own sake. You are not doing it as your own choice. You are not doing it with vengeance or bitterness. You are not doing it with the vanity and arrogance. You are doing it because that is your duty and offer it to me. Therefore, Mai Arpita Manobuddhi, son, have that attitude, and then Mam Eva Yatha Smrutam Eshyasi. And as you will think about me, you shall definitely come to me. Asamshayo na samshayo atra vidyate. There should not be any doubt about it. Now this verse has got a few more aspects that we will take in our next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.